Meow. Kitty. Okay, let's do an update. I did put down, I've researched everything that I possibly can before purple science cubes, and then I went ahead and stamped down a factory that I had previously built using raw materials, and I've tweaked it to use pull-offs from the bus. Now some of this stuff I could tweak a little bit better. Hold on one second. I probably could tweak a little bit better because we're making plastic and graphene, and now we're making graphene tubes. I don't know what they're called, nanocarbon or nanotubes. So I am making a couple more things off on the belt. I just stamped down some mini factories. I started making some frame materials because we're going to need that later on. And again, you just pull this stuff right off the belt for what you're using. I went ahead and made this little tiny factory, sub factory, to make our nanotubes. And I have another sub factory that's making, what is this stuff? Titanium crystal, which I'm going to need for some other things. So I'm kind of plugging in some holes, and it's really easy using the bus system to just stamp, put things down, pull off the bus what you need, and send it right back onto the bus if you need it. Now I don't have a bus for sciences because you kind of build those as you go along. So for me, as for now, a bus player, using the bus system, you kind of got to spread things out, and you'll see here, to feed this purple cubes back is kind of a pain. You got to belt it clear up and send it back to wherever you have your research chambers. Now I have started to research some purple things because I wanted to unlock, quite honestly, I want to build a mall to just build everything. You're going to get to a point where instead of having these little tiny sub factories or sub malls, mini malls, kiosks, you want to have, like we started off with, you want to have a mall that has everything that you can just go pick up what you need. And so I'm kind of getting a little, it's not really frustrated, it's just discouraging because things ramp up to the point where you kind of have to do, so far, some of these mini malls. Now, again, being a bus type person, that's how I've been playing. It's kind of how you have to do things. Now, if you wanted to switch up, and once you have planetary logistics, you can start using those. So here's an example of just doing research and having planetary shuttles deliver my items here. And I would change this to demand. So I want to demand all of the cubes from various factories come here, and the purples come here because you can only hold 3 per planetary PLS. And then those would feed into, you can configure this however you want. If you just want to have one, or if you want to have one tower, and I've upgraded my height. So I can have a few now. If I wanted to feed all of these into one giant tower of research, I could do that. But this would allow you as a player to set up your, I could have my purple factory wherever I want, and then have one of these PLS systems just deliver the product here, and then that would, instead of belting it all over the planet, all kinds of crap, plus this is going to hold 5,000, so you can use this as storage, in addition to delivering to whatever you want, right? Whatever you need. So you can set up those sub factories. I've seen people do it, because these only hold 3. So most, from what I've seen, I think the most I've seen, speaking about a product being made, I think is 4. I don't think I've seen anything require more than 4. And I'm just zipping through here. 4 products, and these are all taking just 3. Even cubes. So nothing's taken more than 3 to make that I can see. If I go to buildings, that might change. Here we got 4 for a vertical landing silo. Some of these are taking 4. That's taking 5 for a miniature particle collider. So you might have to use 2 PLS, planetary logistics stations, to build these out if you decided to do that. Again, it's totally up to you. Ray receiver, that takes 5. So it looks like there are some things that are going to take more than 3, so you'll have to double up if you choose to go that route, and deliver things out. And then, if I were to do this in a station, I would do anything different. You just deliver the individual products down a small buses to your assembler machines, and then have those output to storage chests. So I thought about switching that up because that's going to be a lot easier to just start microfactoring everything. And then using the PLS, which I kind of think the game wants you to do. I mean, it's designed to have shuttles and interplanetary delivery systems. So I think the gamers or the developers kind of wanted you to go that route to make it easier. I don't know. I haven't checked or done any number crunching to see if having all of these belts and delivering all these little products is harsher on your computer's processor and graphics card. I don't know if that's worse than having PLS and ILS systems do that for you. I don't know. I haven't crunched the numbers. If I look in P and then go to performance test, I haven't. I don't know. I don't know if it's better to simplify things into these for your computer so you don't burn it out quick. I have no idea. But that is going to be a future playthrough that I want to do. I want to do a setup where I just use PLS and ILS systems to do things. Set up micro malls and deliver everything through shuttles. One thing I was thinking about this morning, this bus system's working pretty fun and it's doing the job, but I'm getting to a point, or at least I was, where I was running low on refined oil. And so I thought, well, shoot, maybe it would be interesting to make it so this entire bus system run at maximum speed of 1800 product per second. And that is going to be a mega build because all the lines have to be blue, but I'll also have to have structures and smelting in place that's going to be able to deliver 1800 plates per second, right? It's going to be a big tanky beast boy. So that's something for the future I might want to do. Just see how it would run if it all breaks, if I crash the game because I've got 12, 13, 15, 20 belts, whatever, that are all blue pushing product. But as you can see, I'm not really pushing all the product at the high rate. I just have some that are actually going. So it's not like I'm gonna max out the system. It's just for funsies. So that's where I am. Next thing that I want to work on is I want to get some gases from the local system, the local gas giant. So I'm going to do that kind of off camera. I'm going to build up a mini mall to make those. In fact, I already have, and that's an interesting process as I'm learning about it. It just doesn't make it on its own because these require ILS, and it also requires full accumulators. So when I get to that point, I'll definitely talk about it, because I want you to understand what is needed to make these I forget what they're called, particle collectors. Yeah, orbital collectors, and they just go around the equator of the gas giant. That's all they do, or gas giants, however many you find out there in the verse. But I'll cover that in detail when I get to it, when I make a video to talk about how to make those and how to place them and how to collect this stuff out of them. So that being said, I'm just going to let this run. I'm going to expand. I would also highly recommend that you have a large area of just available space, even at the beginning of making your build, because it's nice to have an area that you can test and experiment with. Well, I want to make this product. How would I lay that out? What's the tightest pattern I can get that, or what's the most efficient way? You know, however you want to do it. But it's nice to have a space that you can practice and play and say, yeah, this looks good. Let me make a blueprint of that, and then I'll move that to wherever I need it to go. So you can see we got a lot going on here. Having a blast, chilling. I've got almost a complete ring of collectors. Dyson swarm is going nice. One thing I have noticed, and I don't know if you saw this too as you're watching me go too fast here, is that my solar sails are coming down, but I really am not making as many as I want. I want this thing packed. And that's where the idea in my head came from. Well, what would a sub factory be, a solar sail factory, look like to pump out 1800 per second? How much of this stuff am I gonna need so that this thing is this belt is full, it's blue? I'm making 1800 solar sails per second. And that's where having that large open space over here is going to let me experiment with that, because using my online calculator, something tells me I'm going to need a ton of stuff. If I pull that over here and I look at solar sails and I change this to 1800, I'm going to need 80 factories. Now I have the next level, and let's say I want all these to be blue conveyor belts. And so if I tweak some of this data, I'm gonna have a different number of things that are gonna be required. Just for funsy, I want to see what this is gonna tell me. It's still a lot. So I'm still gonna need 60 Mark II assemblers to get that all fed. I do have the second level unlocked, but I'll still need 45 of the Mark I's. So just a ton of stuff. This stuff I don't have to worry about because we're making that off planet. But some of this other stuff, I'm at 45 smelters to make that 2700. So this is where, it's just gonna take a lot. Gonna take a lot. In total, 143 Mark II assemblers, 158 Mark I arc smelters. I need 23 chemical plants, 9 water pumps. It's going to be a beast. So when I get to that playthrough where I want this to just crank out numbers, a lot of the stuff at the source is gonna have to be ramped up too. And I don't know if that's going to even be possible at this stage, because I have a feeling I'm going to need ILS systems, interplanetary logistics, on more than the 2 planets or 3 planets that I have in my system. I might have to travel to other solar systems, and that's going to require some warpers and a whole nother ball of wax. So when we get to there, I'm definitely going to talk about things and lay them out. But at this point, quite honestly, I'm learning as I go as well, because I haven't really done this game to this scale yet. I've only, I get to a certain point, I get kind of hit a wall, and I'm like, let me start over because I did this wrong. Let me lay it out differently. There's a lot of things that I could do to upgrade to make things better. I definitely want to have these proliferators, said it wrong again, on all of my belt. And ignore this right now as I'm trying to figure out how to make, what is this, dihydrogen, diameters, dimeters, I don't know, something else. So I was playing around with some other, what is this, deuterium. So this is one way that you can make deuterium. You get a fractionator and you just pass in hydrogen, and then 99 is going to pass through, but that 1% is going to actually fire off and hit the mark. So I've had this run for a couple hours and I've only got 1,000. So there's a couple of different ways you can do that, and I'll talk about it later when we start making warpers, because that's warping to other star systems is on the horizon as well. Anyway, real quick, I just wanted to give an update on how things are going. Kind of slow. I'm just gonna let this chug along, this purple, because it's just making as much as it can, as fast as it can on the scale that I have. I think initially I had this set for 60. I think initially I had a lot of my factories like, I'm just going to do 60 per minute. So I want every second I want something coming down, and it's doing that. It just doesn't feel like it feels slow, but it is what it is, right? So anyway, stay tuned. More cool stuff coming up. We're gonna keep playing along, keep on going.